Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Monday, December the 9th. The year's 2024. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and gap with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and differ from Walmal's. And a friendly reminder to always have your risk management in place so you never lose more than you're willing to lose on any one single trade. Taking a look at the weekly chart, we are now 40 pips above the weekly open on the pound, 16 off the high, 51 off the low. And looking at the dashboard, it looks like we've got a couple of euro pairs that have not filled the gap, Euro Australian and Euro GBP. And we have broken out of the opening range for the year that started at 2760. We're above the opening range for the month also. That looks like down at 2734. And we also had touched the opening, the open for the month, and we went down and then back up through it today. And zooming out to the monthly chart, we can see for the year, we're 55 pips above the yearly open, 667 off the high and 468 off the low. Notice I got that indicator fixed and I sent that out to and that was a 2014 donation. So I sent that fix out to the traders. I'm not sure how I missed that. That's like 10 years ago. I don't know how I missed that 10 years. I just saw that. Okay, today we have crossed above that inside bar from 11 months ago at 2758. And we are above the weekly inside bar from 37 weeks ago and the daily inside bar from 4 days ago. But if you look on the dashboard, you can see there's some inside bars to be had. Oh, and by the way, I had a couple of traders ask me about indicators, or they were trying to understand it, or they had a problem. You have to give me the exact indicator name because I may have multiple copies, of the indicator with, slight modifications. So like there's TRO, buy zone, there's buy zone for dummies. You just can't say buy zone. So just a heads up. For the range, we have lots of pairs over 100 pips in range, but the pound's not one of them. It's sitting at 68 pips for the day. Walmal, I don't know what's going on with the pound, but that's why I've got dollar yen up. I've been starting to trade that again.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a low day today, but if you look at last week, we had 90 for the NFP day, which is kind of low, but we had 78, 92, 63, 117. So that's certainly bigger than it's been, but it's not where it should be.
Yeah, and if you notice, I've got the buy zone up, since I just talked about the buy zone, but you can see here, just with your own eyes, this hour, we had the a holo trade where price opened. That was the highest open for the day. Price moved up, tested the daily high, and then came back down. And let's see, that open was at 78. We're now at 68, and we'd gone all the way down to 63. So you had an opportunity to pick up 10 pips or more on that. And that was a nice little move there. And the rats, looking at it, the red rats have feasted once, and they should be able to feast again. Notice that the smart rat zone on the upside is about 10 pips higher than the original rat, but on the downside it's only about 3 pips lower. But that's once again using the smart rat. It can improve your entry by a few pips. And Bambino Flex indicator says to go short. Bias near the pivot was short, but so far that has not paid off because price rocketed up through the pivot, came down, touched it, and then turned right back around. Actually, it actually broke through it by a few pips. Let's see, the low on this H4 candle was 51, the pivot's at 58, so you could have picked up maybe 6 or 7 pips on that trade. We've taken out the daily pivot. Notice we've had a missed pivot 2 days ago. And we've taken out the weekly pivot, and we've taken out the monthly pivot. So pretty much this week we can just focus on daily pivots, because the next monthly pivots to be taken out are 673 pips away and 986 pips away. So I don't think we're going to do that, but anything can happen. We had a big upper wick zone, and we've been sitting in that upper wick zone. We actually broke out of it by looks like, let's see, maybe a point or two, maybe a pip a couple hours ago, but that upper wick zone's so huge. Looks like we're going to be stuck in it for a while. We either have to break out at 52.5 or at 28.11. So we'll have to see what happens there. Looking at the weekly smart range charts for indicators, we've got, once again, high minus low 68. We have not broken out of the previous week's high or low, so we've got an inside bar. And other than that, since it's the beginning of the week, not much to report. Looking at price action, the previous M30 candle covered its previous M30 candle, and I was short and forgot all about playing the cover, and I didn't get those pips. Let's see, the range on the M30 for the past 4 hours has been from 14 to 17 and a half pips. So nice range on the M30.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to bring out to your because you had said earlier the range for the day has only been 68 pips, but the range on the M30, they're where they're supposed to be. So that means that we got a market that's traversing back and forth, and so there's room to make money there. So yes, we have a smart range of 68 pips, but I've got 61.2 pips in the bank. So you can't argue with it. It's just my point is that you may have to go and change your methods around a little bit, where you're looking to get in, get out, take your pips where you can, and don't expect to make 20, 30 pips on a trade. Maybe if your trade normally does that, maybe you start taking 5, 10 pips, and you may have to take a few more trades than you normally would, but there's still money to be made.
Yes, there is. Now let's see, looking at the higher low, lower high, those trades definitely paid off last hour and earlier this hour, it looks like. And right now we're kind of sitting in a no trade area, except we are right near that psychological 75. In fact, we hit it and pulled down about 2 pips. So anybody likes to play those numbers, they were rewarded. Now, looking at the price turn wick zones here, you can see what happens. You get a price turn wick zone put in, and then all of a sudden price re-enters it, just like the market structure traders like to do. And sometimes even on the 1 minute, I like to use these for target areas. Well, look at the pound drop again. See, I told you I wanted to short the pound Walmal. Oh man, that 75 short would have paid off again, because it was right in that price turn wick zone. Actually, it made the price turn wick zone on the 1 minute. And you can see here on the M5, there was a price turn wick zone between 73 and 74. And we've got one down at 65. I saw that price was going to get down to about 66, because there was a midpoint on that on a big white candle there on M5. And looking at the range by month, we're sitting at 194 pips right now. Still pretty low. For the week, let's see, prices inside the upper wick zone, buyer strong control, lower high, higher low. For the daily, pretty much the same, lower high. And that doesn't look right. Lower high. Oh, that's the weekly. Let's see. Lower high, lower low on the daily, even though we've got a green candle. Okay, looking at the M5, it looks like we might need to get back up to about 81. There's that big drop. Candle. Did you see that one, Walmal?
I did.
Because you said you think this is going up to 128, right?
I do. But it's got to break that 83 line. It breaks that 83 line. Then you got a 17 pip run.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, traders, we don't really predict. We anticipate. We're not saying it will. We're just saying, those are places to look for price to move to.
Yeah, we were talking to a trader earlier, this morning, and one of the things I had said to him was that we have, these lines that we draw out there, at least for me anyway. It's sort of like, you're anticipating. It gives you a bias as to where price might go. It doesn't mean it's going to get there. It doesn't mean that's where you take the trade. You need to go and have some type of methodology about it, about what you're going to do. But rather, this is where, if it gets to that area, okay, put on your cautionary hat to make the decision: is when I'm going to take my profit, or am I going to go and see if I can go and grab a bunch of pips on the other side of that line?
Yeah, speaking of lines, did you notice we just crossed the H4 open, turning it green?
Yep, I did.
And speaking of H4, we've got that big bear candle that had to open at 27.94.8, call it 95. Maybe price will try and get to that 95 and cover that candle. Because, Seeker gave us a call, so shout out to Seeker. And he was asking about, covering the M30 and covering the H4. Maybe I'll have to pull up the that cover template I have that has the frequency distributions on there. I'll have to remember, see if I can find that one. I think it's on this computer. But I still want to short the pound. I don't know why. But I've kind of learned, just if you wait, especially on M30, if you look at it, a lot of times my mistakes are going long on an M30. So I've just learned to, if I'm in a long and it's going against me, don't add in. Just let that M30 play out. And then if you want to add in, try and get in that wick zone if it's going to, because it just might cover. And so a lot of times that's what I'll trade. So you can see here we covered candle 2, we covered candle 1. So we'll have to see if we get another cover of the M30 here. So fellow traders, the fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about over. So hopefully you had a fun and safe weekend. And as always, remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.